You're listening to the best local sports show. Boots, Bats and Balls on Six Towns Radio.
Welcome to Boots, Bats and Balls with me, Ross Hancock, where today I'm going to be interviewing another former Potter for my Pottering About series. This weekend, Stoke City face Fulham at Craven Cottage, so with us today we've got a player who's played for both clubs. He made a club record move from Leyton Orient to Fulham back in July 2006, a club record that still stands today. He then went on to join Stoke City on loan twice, helped Stoke City to automatic promotion, and he's now trying to get promotion with League One Peterborough back to the Championship at the first attempt. Let me introduce to you a man who every day is tackling, Mr. Gabriel Zakuani.
Hi.
Hiya. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to start at the beginning of your professional career.
Yeah.
You signed as a 14-year-old at Leyton Orient. You went on to make almost 100 appearances at Brisbane Road. What did you enjoy most about your time at Leyton Orient?
To be honest, it was my first professional club, so I just enjoyed being there, just being part of a professional setup, really. I didn't really look at it as a stepping stone or anything like that. It was actually a team I supported, and I went to all the games as a youngster. I think it's just one of them things that I just grew up supporting Orient as a youngster. It was the first sort of football experience I got, so that's more or less, it's kind of, you could just say, my boyhood club.
Yeah. And one game in particular must bring back pretty good memories, because it turned out to be a last game, so in a way, a sad memory, but what a match it was, because a late goal from Lee Steele promoted Orient, but relegated your opponents on the day, Oxford. Is that one of your favourite footballing memories?
Yeah, it was, to be honest, because it was my first promotion. It was one of them days you can't really forget, and to be honest, because I was young as well, so I didn't really know how big the game was until I looked back a few years later. You know, I didn't realise that how big it was for the fans and how big it was for Leyton Orient. That, you know, we had to win that game to get promoted, and what happened, you know, with the game as well resulted in Oxford getting relegated. So it was so big, but at the time I was just enjoying my football and being part of a first team setup. You know, just enjoying developing. But I think now looking back, I just realised how big and how massive it was, and it was one of them crazy experiences where, like when the goal went in, the winner, it was just something else. I've never really experienced anything like it, to be honest.
And now you're in the same league as Leyton Orient at Peterborough, and you're both challenging for a place at the top of League One, because it's been an incredible start to the season for them. They've only dropped 2 points all season, I think. They
flew out the blocks, you know, and I didn't really expect it, because looking at our record at the minute is fantastic. You know, we flew out the blocks, but the fact that they've gone even one better and they're a couple of points ahead makes the league even more interesting. You know, we were always going to be up there, you know, according to the bookies, according to the fans. But the fact that Leyton Orient's up there as well, you know, it makes it a little bit more interesting, and you know, I'm quite enjoying it because I'm getting a lot of banter from a few of their boys, so it's pretty good.
Well, do you think they can keep it up?
You know what, I hope they can, so, you know, it makes it more interesting. But, you know, at the same time, I hope I do drop a few points so we can take over at the top, and then they can start chasing us instead. And
I'm going to move back to your childhood now, because you moved to London from what was known as then Zaire when you were just 6. Yeah. Did you find it tough having to learn a new language, a new environment? Did anything help you settle? Did football help you settle in England, perhaps?
No, at the time, to be honest, it kind of did, you know, to sort of mingle with other boys and that in England. But at the time when I came, it was just everything was new, you know, from the weather, from being boiling hot to cold, you know, to rain. You know, I've never experienced rain a lot. Just everyday normal things, you know, and the language, you know, I had to learn the language first. And I think football obviously helps you mingle because it's kind of an international language where, you know, everyone knows the same rules, and, you know, you can kind of, if you stand out, you know, you get a few mates and, you know, things like that. So as a kid, it's quite important to get involved in sport, and football kind of helped me settle in a lot quicker than it would have probably if I didn't play football.
And because I've mentioned Africa, I'd like to talk a little bit about the charity Tackle Africa. Because you've been involved with them quite a lot. Stoke fans will probably be pleased to know that a lot of Stoke shirts went out there. But can you tell us a little bit about the charity and the visit that you made? Yeah,
it's a charity, and I've got Stoke involved in it because I've still got a lot of support up in Stoke from my time there. But yeah, it's basically a charity which deals with football, you know, so it teaches about HIV. Through football, which a lot of kids, if you put them in a classroom and you teach them about HIV, they wouldn't really be as interested. But if you sort of put it through football, through while teaching a football session, they sort of enjoyed that, you know. So there was a trip this year as well, which we sent out loads of Stoke kids, and a lot of Peterborough shirts as well. So did a big match with Stoke against Peterborough in Africa, which was quite fun, and the kids really enjoyed it, and it benefited everyone. So everyone was happy at the end of the day.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's been a horrible few years for the people back home. There's some horror stories for women and children especially, but the national team is, I'd say the national team's definitely on the up. The football.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, gone are the days of Loa and Nonda and Alunga, but now you've got people coming through the ranks that are just reaching the peaks of their career, you know, Malumbu, Mongongu, Balassi, Kani, and your teammate, Asombalongo, and yourself as well. Who can all help form the future. Do you think that football can maybe help bring the people together?
I think it can, you know. To be honest, we have a very, very strong national team, as you just mentioned. Yeah. There's an era that has just left, you know, your Lualuas, your Nandas, have all just left. And then you've got the players coming up, you know, you've got Malumbu hitting the peak of his career, you've got Balassi, just in a Premiership club at the minute, and I've got a teammate now, Sambalongo, who I hope will come into the squad and, you know, start doing a lot of things. But I think like it brings the whole nation together. We get 100,000 plus at home games, which shows you how much football means to the country, you know. So things like that, if we start getting some success on the pitch, it will definitely bring us together, and I think as a nation it will improve, and obviously the money coming through with it will help build, you know, a better foundation for the country.
I've looked into it, and you could have had an even better team, because there's a lot of players who fled during the conflicts. People like Christian Benteke, for example, Claude Makaleli, people who probably would have been in first team easy. Do you think maybe that from now, because obviously there's not as much conflict anymore, do you think that maybe the future is going to be bright then for the Democratic Republic of Congo, and in football terms at least? Yeah,
well, definitely, because there's even one at Stoke now in Zonzi who we're trying to get into the squad, and, you know, he's not come so far. But then there's other players. I could look at it in two ways and think, you know, because there's companies from Congo as well, so I'm not sure if I'd be in the squad if he was available. So it's quite tough, but I think now, you look at it, there's a lot of people associated with Congo, but everyone there at the moment is proud to wear the shirt. But, you know, the fact that everyone's enjoying the football, and the future is looking bright. So I think that's the main thing we've got to look at. And, you know, we keep doing well in the African nations, hopefully the next one, and then, you know, hopefully qualify for World Cup in the near future.
One player I didn't mention just then is your brother, Steve, younger brother. He's with Seattle Sounders at the moment. You've got a lot more achievements to your name in terms of promotions, but who's the better footballer?
No, I always said if you talk about football terms, he's definitely the better footballer. But I think, in achievements and that, I'll probably surprise him, probably in fact, or myself, that I've achieved more at the minute. But I think in football terms, he's definitely the better footballer on the ball. But I think I'll make up with it in effort, I think.
And whilst we're talking about Steve, he's doing some great work in the States, not only on the pitch, but off it as well. Kingdom Hope is his own organisation, offers people a chance to achieve their dreams, perhaps against the odds if they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. How proud does it make you to see your little brother giving so much back to the community?
Yeah, it's a big thing, you know. We're very fortunate to be in the position we're in. Of course, from coming from Congo and at young ages, you know. So the fact that we've kind of made some sort of success within our profession, you know, to other people who sort of ain't got the opportunities, you know. So when he started this organisation, I was very pleased for him. I supported him all the way, and I love the work that he's doing. You know, he does loads of conferences, and a lot of young people have really taken to the idea, and they've all, you know, enjoyed everything that has come with it as well. So it makes me very proud, because I'm a big believer in giving back to the community.
Yeah. Do you think maybe one day you'll follow him in his footsteps and move to America, maybe play in the MLS?
Yeah, well, there's been, like, you know, a lot of talk about it, you know, about going, but I just think at the moment it's not the right time. You know, I'm 27, I still think I've got a few years in this country at least, and then I think towards the end of my career I will think about it, because it will kind of be a dream to play with him or alongside him some point in my career.
It would be great to see you both up against each other in opposite teams.
Yeah, it would. I'm pretty sure he'll play out wide that day.
Let's look back instead, because, like I say, you moved to Fulham from Orient, rather. £1 million for a 20-year-old defender from League Two. It's quite a big price for you, and it's a big step up, isn't it? Did you ever feel maybe out of place as like a little fish in a big pond?
Yeah, it was absolutely massive. At the time it was a move I couldn't turn down, and my family couldn't turn down. So. Because it was a big step up, and it was an achievement for myself, to have seen a load of teams interested at that age. But yeah, it was, it came probably, you could say maybe too early, where, I was told that, I will be one for the future, and where I've been playing the 3 seasons in a row at Orient, maybe I was a little impatient, I didn't want to develop anymore. I wanted to play football, and that was it. So, it was probably the right move at maybe just the wrong time, maybe, but, I still learned from some of the best players around in the Premiership at that time, and, I learned from a lot of things, watching games, going to Old Trafford, seeing players, of that caliber. So I probably learned a lot more. I took probably a year out, to just learn the trade really and see how they do it really. So it did work out in good, to be fair, to help me understand football a lot more now.
So, like you just mentioned then, you played and trained with a lot of quality players. So, who at Fulham impressed you the most?
No, a lot of top players, there was your Jimmy Bullard, Carl Jensen, Michael Brown. There was just top players that night at the time as well. So I was learning from the best really. There was a guy, Ian Pearce, as well, who won the league with Blackburn, So there was just so much experience and things that I've never seen, before, where I was used to battling every week in League Two. And now I'm seeing these players that, I'll be playing on FIFA with, So
yeah.
It was just a different step up, I became good mates with people like Bon Morte, they took me under their wing and showed me a lot of things, So it was just a different kind of experience.
And you ended up moving to my club, Stoke, on loan from Fulham twice. Initial short-term, then a long-term loan. Despite only joining on loan, you definitely took to Stoke, didn't you? Am I right?
Yeah, I did, definitely, from straight away, because I've been, like you said, I felt a little bit at Fulham like not part of things, On a Saturday, you want to be playing on a Saturday or be involved in some sort of way, be part of something. And at Stoke, straight away, Tony Pulis took me under his wing. Even the games I didn't play, but I just felt very much part of the squad, and he made me feel everything, part of everything. So I just took to the city straight away, took to Tony Pulis and took to the squad. Everything was just perfect, set up, great stadium. It actually felt like I was at a bigger club in Fulham, so which is different, because the stadium just seemed a lot better, and everything else around the place seemed a lot better as well for me. So I actually enjoyed my time there so much, from the beginning.
Did the fact that Pulis sought you out for a second spell make you feel like he really, really wanted you at the club?
Yeah, what it was sort of trying to work out a deal, to join on a permanent basis. But at the time, because Chris Coleman left Fulham or got the sack, so it was kind of difficult to work something out, because Chris Coleman, the one who let me go off to Stoke in the first place. So that sort of interrupted things, and was trying to sort of sort something out, but it just didn't materialise. It was changing managers there was a few changes in managers at the time, so it didn't really work out as well as I wanted it to. But I still look back, and he really liked me at the time, and to bring me back twice, just shows that he did like me. So I enjoyed my time.
How close were you with Tony?
To be honest, people would used to call him my dad. To be honest. We were, to be honest, because I don't know, he'd always give me a little extra. He'd give me days off, because he knew I was a London boy, so I'd get extra days off, maybe a longer weekend than the other lads, and he'd just look out for me, so everyone did used to call him, especially Ricardo Fuller. You see him say, "How's your dad today?" So always you'd say that. So we had a lot of banter, but yeah, I've got on with him all the time. Even every time I've gone through any hard time on the pitch or outside football, I've always called him, and he's always gave me advice, and sometimes he always texts me every Christmas without fail. He'll text me, or every sort of festivities he always texts me, but he always puts kisses at the end as well. Which I don't know, but yeah, we're just really close, to be honest.
No, you just mentioned Ricardo Fuller, and I'm assuming that you're still mates with Ricardo.
Yeah, he would never. really live my life, to be honest. He's one of my best mates, and we get on just like a house on fire each time. So I've never met anyone so laid back, and we just seriously just got on from day one. We were together literally every day. My time up there, when he moved to Charlton, we'd see each other every other week really. So he's definitely one of my best mates. Still in touch with him.
I'm going to give you a chance to embarrass him here. Have you got any funny stories about Ricardo?
Not really. I have a lot of stories, but just not really. None really stand out. But he's one of the characters in football. I'd say he's definitely one of those characters. Probably had the worst gear in football as well. Unbelievable.
I'll tell you, we'll go on to Pasha now then. We'll go off Fuller. You joined Peterborough from Fulham on a permanent deal. You became a bit of a cult hero and a fan's favourite. So are you enjoying life at Posh at the moment despite relegation? Is there quite a good feeling about the squad?
Yeah, very good feeling, relegation was really harsh, on us, as it happened literally in the last few minutes of the season. So, I think a lot of us are feeling that hurt, from that relegation. So we're taking it out on League One at the minute, we're scoring loads of goals. And we're just looking to bounce back straight away. We're not looking to hang around. But it's a tough league, there's a lot of top quality teams in this league, so we know we have to take it a game at a time, and at the moment it's going according to plan, but we want to definitely win this league and keep it going.
And you've got a big game this weekend with another team who's flying pretty high in the league, Preston at home. How are you all feeling ahead of the match?
We're confident, we beat MK Dons a couple of weeks ago with 9 men, and then we won kind of an ugly game, so 2 different kind of wins. We won an ugly game against Rotherham away, who were also unbeaten. So that's 2 unbeaten teams out of the way, and there's Preston also unbeaten, so hopefully we can make it a hat-trick. Now,
not to make this question too difficult for you, Gabs, but I need a prediction. Fulham versus Stoke, what's the score going to be?
Oh my God. I'll go for a Stoke narrow win. Stoke narrow. I'll say 2-1. 2-1 Stoke, yeah.
2-1 Stoke. That'd suit me pretty well. And finally, just before you go, I'd like to talk about your best mate, Dizzy. Dylan, as his mum calls him. You're in the video for Flex. You're a contestant on a sort of X Factor type show. Now, I'm not going to ask you how many times you have to do the keepy uptake, because you're a defender. But what I want to know is, it's about Peterborough. I want to know who's got the worst music taste at Peterborough. Who's in charge of the music?
Oh, Grant McCann is in charge of the music usually. He's got his iPod on, and I don't think he's updated it this century. It's just really old stuff on there. He loves his dance music from, I don't know, the 80s or I don't know. But it's definitely, his music taste ain't the worst. So usually it does get binned early during the match days. But he still thinks he's in charge.
Excellent. Best of luck for this weekend, Gabs, and best of luck for the rest of the season. I think most Stokies would wish you pretty well, because you're basically one of us.
Cheers. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.